Okay. That's number one. So before I give answers to the rest, before you see answers, do you have any questions about anything else on the practice test?
I kind of need to get the answers first.
That's fine. I just didn't know if there were any that you knew that you were struggling with.
Oh, yes, many.
No. There are many you're afraid of. Which ones could you not even, is there any that you like, I can't even hardly do this?
Oh, no.
You didn't even try it.
Oh, no. I tried all of them.
Okay. Das ist fine. Das ist gut. Okay, so let's go through the answers. The answer to number 2 was C. Number 3 was y equals negative 3x minus 10. Number 4 was y equals 2/3 x minus 7. Excuse me. Number 5 was y equals 3x plus 1. Number 6 was y equals negative 3/4 x plus 13/2. Number 7 was y equals 4/3 x plus 4. Number 8 is y equals negative 3/2 x plus 19/2. We didn't do 9.
Or 10.
We should have done 9A, but that's okay. That's okay. Maybe we'll go back and do it. Maybe we'll go back and do number 9 today.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should probably go back and do 9, but that's fine. We will have time. But yeah, we did skip 10, which is fine. Why did we skip 10?
It doesn't go over it. Maybe. We skipped like 3 lessons.
We skipped 2 lessons. Y'all need to be able to pull an equation from a table. If we end up needing to come back and push the test back a day, we will, but I think we'll be okay. You're going to have to study either way, buddy.
Wait, are we doing this?
We won't do 10B for sure, but we might go back and do 10A. And we'll go back and do 9. He was here. All right. So number 11, y equals 4x minus 11. Number 12 was y equals negative 3x minus 14. Number 13 is y equals 1/2 x plus 7/2. 14 is y equals negative 4x minus 6.
Is a 3 and 1/2 the same as 7/2?
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 15 was f.
What was 14?
14 was y equals negative 4x minus 6. Oh yeah, 10 we will skip, but 9 we should have done. But that's fine. We'll go back and do 9. And 16 is right. We should have skipped that. That's correct. But we will go back and do 9 because you need to be able to do that one. Number 17. The inverse of f of x is negative 1/5 x minus 6. Number 18, the inverse of f of x is 1/4 x minus 5/2. And number 19 is the inverse of x is 6x plus 12. And number 20 is the inverse of f of x is 4/3 x minus 16. Before we go back and do 9 together, because we can do that one together.
What was 15 again?
15 was f, positive correlation. Before we go back and do number 9, are there any questions? Okay, good.
Number 17, I got x plus 30 and 5. Is that technically a right answer?
Probably. Let me see. So you said number 30.
17.
Number 30. It has a 30 in it, right? Number 17. Oh my gosh, this pen is so much better. I need to buy one for myself. Okay. So much better than that crappy one. But that's okay. You got what now?
I got x plus 30 over 5.
X plus 30 over 5. So the 5 would go in there and be 1/5 x. This one has them both as being negative, but let me double.
-5 on the bottom.
So did you have a -5 or a +5? So the negative would have been a mistake, but other than that, it would be correct. Yeah. So like no negative like yeah. So you assign so that would have been that part is wrong, but that's the only thing that's wrong. Other than that, it's perfect.
I got one right.
Yeah, you got one close to right.
18, 19, 20. I'm not 20.
Yeah, it's the same idea. Yeah, because it doesn't say that you have to write it in slope intercept form. On the test, I imagine I will say write the answer in slope intercept form, so you'll want to actually divide that out the full way. But that's technically right.
But what's the answer to 17?
X plus 30.
-1/5 x minus 6 is the inverse of f of x.
What's the answer to 18?
Inverse of f of x equals 1/4 x minus 5/2.
Is the 2 and 1/2 the same as 5/2?
Yeah.
I like these problems. I'm good at them.
Good. What other questions y'all have before we look at 9 together?
I did not do 4 through 12 right, minus 11. I got it right.
Okay. So which one do you want to look at first?
Me.
4.
Okay. So for number 4, oops. It is, we're trying to write an equation in slope intercept form that goes through the point 3, -5, and has the slope of 2/3. So, Aiden, how should we go about solving this thing? There are 2 different directions to go. So give me one. I know you got it wrong. That's okay. What do you think you do?
I think you put it in slope intercept form
Okay. So what is slope intercept form? Let's start with that.
y equals 2 over 3 plus x.
No. What is slope intercept form? No numbers.
Y equals mx plus b.
Thank you. Okay.
I just didn't know what to do.
Now what are we going to do?
Substitute.
Substitute what where? Aiden.
X and Y.
Okay, what are we going to put right here, Aiden?
The -5.
Sounds great. And then anybody, what are we going to put right here?
Slope. The 2/3.
2/3. And then right here?
30.
All right. Is that what you did, Aiden?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what?
Multiply the like terms.
Yeah. What you mean is correct. Okay, so what's 2/3 times 3?
2.
It is 2.
Wait, how is that 2? Because the 2 3's cancel out. Oh, right. 2.
And then?
Subtract 2 from both sides.
Sounds like a good idea. So B ends up equaling?
-3?
Nope.
-7.
-7. Signs are the same. So we add and keep the sign. Now what, Aiden?
Make a new problem? Or should we not do that?
Not make a new problem, but...
Solve. No, we already solved it. I'll plug the b back into the original.
So I can write my answer now, right? So what's my answer now?
Y equals 2/3 x plus -7.
So what'd you do wrong? Did you figure it out?
I got -8 somehow. I think, yeah, I wrote the wrong number down.
Okay, that's easy peasy. Just small mistake, no problem. Which one do we want to look at next?
6.
6.
I got all but one of these.
Okay, number 6. So we're trying to still find the equation and slope intercept form of the. I did start this. Yes, good. The line that passes through 2, 5, and -2, 8. All right, B, what should we do?
Write it with the y2 minus y1.
Okay, so we're going to use the slope formula. So when we plug that in, what are we going to put right here? Okay, and here. And then here.
-2.
And then here. Yeah, because I can math. Okay. So for our M, we end up with what?
-3/4.
-3 over -4.
Does that become positive because they're both?
Oh yeah, positive. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Positive over. Now, what are you asking? Because I think you're asking something different than the mistake I made. Were you talking about this one in particular?
I was talking about the whole thing. Does the whole 3/4 become positive?
Oh yeah, it would have, but I've made a mistake because 8 minus 5 is +3.
So,
But if it would have been negative over negative, then yes.
So in this case, the whole thing becomes negative.
Yeah. So our M is -3/4. Now what?
We're gonna write it in the x equals or y equals in slope intercept.
Sure, that's fine.
I have a question. How do you know which of the y's to use?
For like at this stage,
Like when you substitute them in.
it doesn't matter. But you have to pick a point. So you can either pick these two or these two. So you just pick one of the points. Whichever one looks easier was what I recommend.
I did the first one.
I think what I got wrong with a bunch of
Which
these.
one did I pick?
I've arrived.
You have arrived. Welcome.
I have a valid excuse.
Okay. So what are we going to put right here?
The 5.
I think I know why.
And here?
So many
Negative.
Your signs.
I switched them. I did y minus. I did y1 minus y2. Like I did the 1 minus 2.
That wouldn't matter.
I see what I did.
Would it matter?
You should get the same slope either way. I bet you messed up your signs on accident somewhere.
I did get the same slope.
Well, good. Then that's not what you did. What are we going to put right here?
The 2. So no, the -3/4.
I saw you at the movies.
And then right here?
The 2.
Spider-Man again?
So now what?
We would multiply the -3/4 times the 2.
Okay, so what's -3/4 times 2?
3 halves. I got -4.
-3 halves.
Negative. And does -4/3 work too?
No, -4/3 would not be right. I don't know where you got that, but that something happened.
Kept it as a fraction, I think.
Well, even if you keep it as a fraction, if we pre-reduce, right? 2 goes into both of those. We'd have a 1 there and a 2 there. So I don't know. Probably just made a little mistake, something. Who knows?
So what would be instead?
-3/2.
I just want to tell you, I subscribe to Be of Mischief.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why did we plug in the set of numbers that we did?
As opposed to what, sir?
Why did we plug in the second numbers and not the first set of numbers of coordinates?
Are you talking about this step or this step?
That step, when you plug in
The bottom step? So why did I plug in 5 and 2?
Yeah, why plug in that and not the 8 and -2?
You could have done 8 and -2. That's what Hannah was asking about. So on this step right here, when you have 2 points, you just pick one. So you would either plug in these 2 or you would plug in these 2. Yep. So you would get the same answer if you plugged in 8 and -2.
All right, I don't know what I did.
Okay, so now we're not quite finished. So what should we do?
Do the reciprocal of.
It's not multiplied.
Add 3/2, -2. So
We would add 3/2, yeah. So what's 5 plus 3/2?
6 and 1/2.
Yeah, 6 1/2 or 13/2. Either one of those is technically true. Now what do we need to do?
Write our answer.
Write our answer. What is our answer going to be?
Y equals
-3/4x.
yeah, -3/4x plus 13/2.
Yeah, 13/2 or 6 1/2.
Is there a particular form of that number that you should use, or does it not really matter? Proper fraction.
Probably the best way to write it would be a mixed number and not an improper fraction, because our brains don't think in improper fractions. Now, for the slope, you would want it in an improper fraction. So I don't know that I would count off either way. As long as whatever you write, it's reduced.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Question. On my calculator, I don't know how to write the improper fraction, like a mixed number. I don't know how to do that.
I'll show you. It's easy peasy. Oh,
Don't call me dumb. He's dabbing on me.
Okay.
I know how to do the fraction. It's not improper. I mean a mixed number.
So get that as got a decimal, whatever, which is what it gives us the initial. So do that, we get fraction decimal. There you go. There's your mixed number. Now, if you want to switch between a mixed number and a improper, it's this guy. So second and that. And they'll switch back and forth.
Okay, so you just do a number divided by another number, then.
Yeah. Now, and if you want to actually put in a mixed number, you use this button. You use this button. So you do like 1 and let's see. Okay, works. That is how to put a mixed number. We learned something together. It was beautiful. Okay, what other questions do y'all have?
Dab him up.
Dab him up?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
don't say that anymore. Don't say that anymore.
Okay, what other questions do you have? 19.
I did confused. I'm so proud of it. No, Yeah.
After the teacher when he said don't do 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Yeah,
And didn't listen to any of the conversation after that, apparently.
I heard don't do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
I know. And then we had this entire conversation saying how that was not true, which you didn't listen to. Facts. No cap. Okay.
I don't have a cat because it's at home.
Okay. we made a joke the other day on a YouTube video about a character in a book, and I made a joke about I said, we can talk like the kids nowadays and say he's acting really sus and whatever, and so we made that joke. And then
which video is that?
it was, I think, the latest video we put out, the book 9 review. What is the equation? Let's see, 1. And then somebody in the comments, I think it was a older person, but I don't know for sure. But somebody in the comments was like, yeah, so and so was acting mad sus, no cap. Continued the joke. It was funny. Okay, so we're trying to find the inverse. Okay, so what do we do to do that?
Substitute the f of x for y.
Okay, so we turn f of x into a y. Sounds great.
And then flip the y and the x.
And then we flip them.
Yep.
Sounds great. Now what?
Add 2 to both sides.
Add 2 to both sides. Sounds great. Now what?
Multiply 6 on both sides.
Multiply 6 on both sides. Sounds great. So y equals 6x plus 12.
I know what to do.
Questions?
Because I know what to do when it's solved.
Oh, except I know what to do. Except we should probably convert this to proper notation, right?
12 or plus 2?
12.
Oh, right.
The 6 has got to be multiplied on everything. If you're going to make a mistake on one of these, that would be the number one place to make a mistake. Make sure when you multiply or divide, it goes into everything. Stop it.
My bad. That was one thing.
Okay. Any questions on that problem?
I have a question.
Good.
If it's on a test and we put y instead of f of x,
I'd count off a point.
you what? Really?
Yeah.
You would do that?
You have been warned.
Ryan no longer supports. I don't support.
I'm actually in the process currently of significantly revamping my grade book, which makes counting off for stuff like that make even more sense. Actually, to be continued. Hopefully, in the next week or two, I will be telling you how the grades are going to change because they're going to shift, mostly for the better.
I don't have my test.
Who's the definition of better? Ours or yours?
Both.
I don't have my test that we.
Okay.
I don't want to do that full test thing that we have. I don't know. Whatever you said, it was like we have a hard test. Next time.
It's actually going to be that I will tell you is not going to be a big test. It's actually going to be multiple small quizzes.
That we've already had.
Yeah, it'll be over like Unit 1 stuff and 2 stuff and 3 stuff.
When?
Easy peasy
I
lemon
all
squeezy.
my own quizzes.
You don't have to find them because the point of what we're going to be doing with that is making sure of what you have actually retained.
Well, I forgot all. But what if I haven't retained anything? You're like, think your parents are gonna kill you.
Well, then I don't know what we're doing with our lives. What other questions do you have on this test?
On this test.
I mean, yeah, practice test, whatever it is.
I have one on.
We get graded like.
Everything is graded. Everything is awesome.
Oh yes, I have a question on number 1.
Yeah, what's the question on number 1?
How are we supposed to get a whole line out of that? When you grab it,
Push my glasses up in my nose.
What?
The rise of the line.
This is like back to the beginning of this unit.
I guess it's just like I understand where you get the slope, but I don't quite get where you find the points to start from.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back and do another example of graphing from slope intercept form. That's like way back stuff, but so let's do an example that's like that but different. I'll just make one up. It's probably going to be the easiest way to go about it. Okay. Graph.
So we're graphing slope intercept form?
We are graphing a line.
A graph? We're a graph?
This is definitely
That's not a G.
sort of a
That is
G.
not a G. That looks like a duck.
That's not a G.
It's a G graph because there's a space.
We'll start with, how about negative 2x minus 4y equals 8. Hello. So this one is kind of like number one, but it's actually a step further because it's not given to you in slope intercept form, right? So the first thing we got to do is convert that to slope intercept form. So how do we do that?
Add 2x for both sides.
What?
Add 2x for both sides.
Add 2x over here. And if we do it over here, we've got to do it over here, right? Sounds beautiful. Okay, so we've got negative 4y equals 2x plus 8.
Divide -4 on all of it.
Divide negative 4 on everything. Right? Making sense? We remembering? Yes, no, maybe? So what's 2 divided by negative 4?
That's
Negative 1/2.
8 divided by negative 4.
Negative 1. Negative 2.
Wait,
Wait, that's negative 2.
Okay, so now that you have it in slope intercept form, now that your number 1 on your practice test just gave it to you in slope intercept form. On the test, I probably will do one of each at least. I may even put one in point slope and then let y'all do whatever you want to do from there. Absolutely.
That's trash.
No. It's trash.
Have you ever played Among Us in your life?
I have. Okay, so graphing from slope intercept is super easy. Okay, we've definitely done this before, but we'll review now. That's the whole point of today, isn't it? Yes, it is.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is the test we're going to do tomorrow, next class, is going to be over just this unit, or?
Just this unit.
Okay, good. Because it'd be really mean if maybe. I don't know this unit at all. You should have paid attention on the Zoom class.
Okay. So our first step.
You right.
This is where we hush. Our first step is to graph that. What is that? It's not the slope. It's the y-intercept. So on the y-axis, we go down 2 and put a point. And then we count the slope from that point, from that specific point. So are we going to go up or down first? And how do we know? We're going to go down. How do we know that it's down? Because it's negative. So we're going to go down how many? 1, and then over how many? 1, 2. Now, we can also flip both of those, and we can go up 1 and back 2, right? That's possible.
Why isn't the x going to the left since it's negative as well? Oh, because it has to go this way to be...
It is going to the left as well. I'm confused. What are you asking?
Okay, so when you go...
Oh, no, it's not. It's not negative as well. So that would be negative 1 over negative 2, which would equal positive 1 over 2.
So how do you know which one's negative?
Either one, but not both. And that's what I was talking about. So like for this point right here, we went down 1 and then positive 2. This one, we went up 1 and back 2.
So it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter. It's either one, but not both. Yes. Yeah, that's a great clarified question for sure. Okay, so now we've got points. and we graph the thing. So you remember a little bit, Hannah, making sense?
Yes.
Good.
That makes more sense.
Good. Those shouldn't be hard. And if you need more practice for those, there are ones on page 273 that are some good practice. And if anybody wants the key to those at some point, just send me a message, email or text or whatever else. Don't do it through Moodle. I won't see it.
I'm gonna do it.
But you can either email me or text me and I will get those.
Okay.
I'll do it through Google that way. If you
You
don't
can-
see it, I can play it.
No, because on recording, I told you. So, not going to work because I have evidence.
Caught you in 4K.
Got you. Actually, it's in 1080p, but that's okay.
I have a question.
Okay, good. What question do you have, sir?
So, it's like not specifically about this, but it's about math.
So, does anybody have any questions about the practice test?
It's about math one.
Wait, it's about the test. It's about the test. It's about the test.
I'm listening.
Okay.
Sometime this century.
Like with the problems like 3 and 4, the slope intercept stuff, I'm not quite understanding that. So could you like make a YouTube video or something?
We're just doing it.
What are you talking about? Like 3 and 4?
I didn't
Well,
take it.
not specifically 3 and 4, just how to do that type of problem. Because I wasn't here for whenever you guys were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So could you like maybe
Let me look at something real quick. Because you are what you're really gonna need is something that's gonna come up sooner than what I can get for you. So let me Google something. And actually by Google, I mean YouTube something.
It's gonna be
It's not gonna be Ember Learning Labs.
We don't talk about Bruno. That was the first thing that pops up. Did that type?
I hate that song.
Dude, that song overtook "Let It Go" from Frozen.
Really?
Yeah, it did. But rightly so. Let It Go sucked.
So what I would do, are you paying close attention? Because I would write this down, buddy. I would watch these 3 videos right here from Brian McLaughlin. What I searched to pull those up was writing linear equations in slope intercept form. And those 3 videos should get you pretty much every bit that you need. Mm-hmm. We didn't do parallel and perpendicular lines, or did we?
We did.
We did.
We did. Oh yeah, that's like 13 and 14.
Connor did it.
You said you did 13 and 14.
Oh no, I didn't do 13.
Did you do well on them? Then why haven't you asked about it? Okay, so before I take more questions, what I want to do is I want to do number 9. I know we didn't assign it. I should have assigned number 9. Didn't assign number 9. Because the word problem that you have on your test, the one or two word problems, it will be like number 9. Okay?
Should I take this homework home and study it? Like this homework?
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Wouldn't be a bad idea at all.
Why would you keep it? Like, why would you keep it?
Okay, so number 9. So number 9 says the data in the table show the size of a room in square feet and the time it takes to paint the room in minutes. Okay, so I'm going to kind of quickly put, for the sake of the video and our sanity and whatever else, I'm going to quickly kind of draw out the table. So we have room size on top, and then we have painting time on the bottom. And the table is 100, goes to 160, and then this is in your textbook on page 277, by the way, if you want to look at it that way. Whatever works for you. Goes to 220, and then, come on, machine. 200 goes to 270, and then 400 goes to 500, and then 500 goes to 680. Okay.
Is this 500 hours or minutes?
Does it say time in minutes? So 680 minutes, 500 minutes, whatever else. Great question. Okay, so for excuse me, part A, what they ask is to use the points 100 and 160. Okay. And 500 and 680.
Wait, 680?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 68.
680 probably makes more sense.
Oh, yeah, it does.
You were just trying to copy down. You weren't thinking about sense or not. Okay. So we're going to use those points to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So this is practice specifically, Connor, with what you were asking. So we get another practice with that, which is great. Okay, and whatever else. So in order to get an equation using those 2 points from that table in slope-intercept form, what are we going to do?
You have to
Find the slope.
Find the slope. Okay, so the slope, we're going to use the slope-intercept form. Excuse me, not slope-intercept form. The slope formula is what I'm trying to say, isn't it? What are we going to put right here?
680.
And here?
160.
And then here?
500.
And here? 100. 680 minus 160 is what?
5.
Wait, what was it again?
520.
680 minus 160 is 520.
He's cheating. He actually did something.
I'm hacks.
He's
What's 500 minus 100?
400.
And then we reduce that. So 520 over 400 reduces to what?
120 over what? 1.3.
1.3.
How? Or 1 3/10.
My religion doesn't believe in calculators.
Huh?
My religion doesn't believe in
Guess
calculators.
here have
Mark Legend. By the way, that reminds me, on this test, you will not be allowed to share calculators. Not happening. Go buy one. $15 buys you as good a calculator as you absolutely need. $10 will buy you one of those, or maybe 12, which are great too. And you may not use your phone either. This has been rules. This has been the rule from the beginning, but
Never said no share.
that's true. But I'm saying that now because you could cheat very easily that way.
How?
You can look at past.
That would be a good idea.
Look here.
Okay.
That's a good
So you need a calculator. They're not expensive. They're not hard to find. Go buy one. Okay. So there it is. Now that we have the slope, what should we do next?
Plug it into slope intercept.
Sure. Why do y'all insist on doing it that way? It's fine, whatever.
What's the other way?
Using point slope. But it's fine.
Stupid.
Point slope is nice. It makes it's so much faster. But it's okay. Because you have to memorize another thing, so it's fine, I guess.
Well,
Alright. What are we going to plug in right here?
No,
I've got y right there. What should I substitute for y?
160.
And then what should I substitute for m?
443.
Okay.
1 3/10, which is what I wrote. I just wrote it in decimal form. Either way, whatever. This is a word problem, y'all. So decimal honestly probably makes more sense.
And then 500.
And then not 500, sir. Because we put 160 over here, so we're using this point right there.
That would be 100.
So 100.
I
You
actually
told
got it
us
right.
to never get a decimal.
No, I didn't say that. I have said multiple times that in a word problem, often the decimal, even the rounded decimal, is our preferred answer.
Just be 100.
But that's only in a word problem. Okay, so what is 1 3/10 times 100?
130.
When you multiply by 100, this is what we're learning in like my middle school class. You move the decimal once, twice.
That's what I said. 130.
Did you say percent? Because that's
Yeah,
lies.
percent.
You were doing so well.
30.
You
No, I said 130.
You did say 130. I did hear you say it.
were doing so well.
After he said percent.
I never said percent.
You did this last time.
Go back on the tape.
No.
We got it on
9.
Boy, we caught you with 4K2. No.
So what's the equation of my line?
Y equals 1.3 x plus 30.
The only thing that I would personally do if it were me, differently than what they did in the book, as their answer is for this particular problem, I would actually, instead of using y and x, I would use meaningful variables. So in our problem, what is y?
What is
The paint time.
The paint time. And what is x?
Room size.
Room size. So I might use something like time equals 1.3 times the size. I would not count off if you didn't do that, but it is better practice on word problems it is better practice on a word problem to use meaningful variables because it helps you understand what's happening later. I would not count off for that if you didn't do that, but that is best practice, even though that's not what they do in the book. So for B, though, B is the next part, and this is where, everything we've done so far isn't hardly even word problem, right? So for B, it says to predict the amount of time required to paint a room measuring 750 square feet.
So then it's just a matter of finding out how.
Can you show us the table?
You don't need the table for that, but I can. So, which variable would this be associated with? The T or the F or the S? Is this the size or the time?
The size.
Size. So which one are we going to substitute that variable into? The S. So to do this problem, all we have to do is take and substitute that in right there. So T equals 1.3 times 750 plus 30. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's 1.3 times 750?
975.
Plus 30. So what's 975 plus 30?
No.
1,010.
1,005. Yeah.
1,005. Now, this next bit I will count off if you don't do it, because in a word problem, you need units for your number answers. So what's the units here? 1,005 what?
No.
No. Time. Minutes.
How would you know it's minutes?
Because it's given in the problem. It says if you have the page open, it says it up on 9.
And I asked him earlier.
Yeah.
I did listen, I just didn't know.
I know, that's fine. No, that's good. This disconnected information is hard to remember.
Would you count off if we put time and it says minutes? Like put like a.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because that's not units. Yeah, no, that's a and that one. that one I will always count off on. And that one's kind of a big deal. Honestly, that should be more than a point off. I will only count a point off on it, but it should be more than that because units really, really matter. In fact, in real life, NASA accidentally crashed a multi-million-dollar mission to Mars because they didn't convert units correctly.
Bruh.
That's a big deal, big mistake. So units matter. What? Yeah, you use math in real life all the time. It's called money. Okay.
Y x plus 3 7.
You use algebraic thinking in real life. Now, what other questions y'all have on the practice test? If we have a word problem, and we will have at least one, it will be like that one. You will not be asked to do the line of best fit and all that stuff like on 16 and 10 because we're not taking the time to do that because these days the only way you're ever going to be doing line of best fit is with a calculator or a computer, and we're not worrying about that. So if you get to college and you are like, how do I do a regression line and you're having trouble, Google it or call me. I don't care. What?
What happens if I don't have a calculator?
Then you have to do the test without a calculator. No cap.
What happens? I have a question on number 12.
You have a question on number 12?
Yeah, number 12. Because I plugged this stuff in and everything. I got the right format, but I got it wrong. I don't know.
Okay, so 12 is write the equation in slope intercept form for the line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the graph of each equation. So
why is it that every time it comes to this class, my stitches start falling out?
probably because you pick at them.
Are you in like
I
a
don't know.
fight club or something?
Yeah. I was fighting someone with a knife. Yeah.
That's cat.
No, it's just
Whoa, that's intriguing.
Yeah. I saw Skittles. It's not me.
Skittles don't.
Skittles do have a distinct smell.
If you chew on them, then.
Okay, so we want to find the equation that is parallel to this one, but goes through this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I did on the other one that was like this, I put it into slope form. The not the intercept form. I forgot.
Point slope?
Point slope form. And I got that one right, but I got this one wrong.
Okay. So what does the fact that this is parallel to our line tell us?
Then it has to have the same slope?
It has to have the same slope. So the slope of the line we're looking for is -3, right? Okay. So now what?
We put it in point slope form.
Sure, it's fine. What is point slope form?
Y minus 1.
Why 1? Those are two very different things.
Y minus. Oh no, I'm like plugging in the.
Oh, okay. Well, don't do that. Don't skip that step. You'll make a mistake. Equals. What's the rest of point slope?
Equals m times x minus x1?
Sure. So we need to plug in something here, here, and here. Now, 1 is correct. Now, what are we going to plug in right here? -3. Watch those signs. You're going to make a mistake. That's where it's going to happen.
And
You're gonna fail to
negative
be
5.
Can you do it in slope intercept form?
Yeah. Yeah. You can do it that way, for sure. Absolutely. You'll get the same answer either way. The only thing that, if you do it, the biggest thing with doing it slope intercept form is remember that when you end up with B equals, don't circle that and move on. You have to do the extra step of actually writing the equation. Because that would be an annoying point to miss. You did everything right except finishing. So ka-chink, ka-chink. Right now, what would we do?
Distribute.
Distribute.
Can we do something special if everyone gets 100?
Yeah, we can say, yay. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Now what do we do now?
Might add 1 to both sides.
So y equals negative 3x minus 14. True facts.
Oh,
Finite.
I know what I did wrong.
Good. I'm glad. What other questions y'all have from this practice test?
If you don't have any questions,
No.
why'd you change like the inside of the parentheses to plus instead of minus?
Because it was minus negative 5. And when you have minus negative 5, we ka-ching, ka-ching.
Oh, so if it's a minus a negative, then you
Turn it to a plus. Yes, that's right. Abso-frickin-lutely.
Just complete swears.
No, that's not going to happen.
You have said viewer.
But not out of context.
He was talking about his dog. By the way, yeah, I thought he was talking about his dog. Where is she?
Yeah, I thought
She's at my house. What other questions y'all have on this practice test? You will get a problem like number 15, maybe even like 2 or 3 of them. Positive correlations going like this, negative correlations going like that, and no correlation will be going like this, right? Yes. Those are actually points, not like crazy beans or whatever those are. But, whoa, I lost my thing. What happened? Come back.
Just start writing.
Ruh-roh.
Why did you start seeming happier?
I don't know. that made me feel sad.
I got you.
Okay. What else?
I understand the ones I missed.
What about 13 and 14? What?
13.
13 says, write an equation of slope intercept form for the line that passes through the given point and is perpendicular to the graph of the equation, right? So 13 the point is 1, 4. And the equation is y equals negative 2x plus 5. So we want one that is perpendicular to this line and goes through that point. So what does the fact that our line is perpendicular to that line tell us?
Is that negative 2 needs to be 1/2.
Yeah, so it means our slope is 1/2, the opposite reciprocal of that slope. And then after that, we do it the same way, right? Let's go ahead and do it using slope intercept form method this time instead, since some of you prefer that. So we're going to use y equals mx plus b. And then we're going to plug stuff into it. So what are we going to put right here?
4.
And right here?
1/2.
1/2. You know, you would get a lot more out of it if you would participate in class. Just saying. What are we going to put right here?
1.
1. 1 times 1/2
So
is.
the one on the right, so like 1/4. The one on the right is always the line, right?
That's left, but yes. Right here. Oh, yeah, in the point. Yeah, it always goes x, y. Yes. Correcto.
Unless you tell us this. Right?
Does it ever tell us that?
No.
Well, you said
Not for x, y.
You said you were going to make us a problem.
I probably did joke that, but we're not doing that. Definitely not on a test. What's 1 times 1/2?
1/2.
Now what?
Minus 1/2 of those x.
So our b
4 minus
equals.
3.5.
Oh, you right.
What?
I said what's 4 minus 1/2? Like it's 4.
So our equation is y equals.
4 plus 3. Can we put 3.5?
No. I probably wouldn't count it off, but I would be annoyed.
That's annoying.
Now, I will tell you this, and I would count off for this. If the answer was this, oops, nope, just kidding. LOL, JK. If the answer was this and you wrote this as your answer, I would count off for that because those two are not the same.
Oh, well, yeah, if it's not right, then of course count off. That's just how that goes. But what if it's 1/2 and it's 0.2? No, 0.5.
Those are technically the same. And yeah, I probably wouldn't count off, but I would be annoyed. Okay. We have time for one more. Anything else we need to look at?
Can we do 20?
20. We can do 20.
What do we study? I didn't know number 20.
You can study the practice test. You can study your old homework. You can study the study guide. You can study Khan Academy. You can study.
Was this the study guide for the practice test? No, this was the practice.
This was the practice test.
Oh, so we already did the practice test. Yes.
Oh my gosh, machine.
Because we practice for the test.
Oh, practice this.
All right, number 20. We want to find the inverse of f of x equals 3/4 x plus 12. Doing it faster than normal because time. We're going to jump to this is x equals. Come on, little machine. You can do it.
Khan Academy.
Why are you pulling that up? What are you doing? Okay, machine.
It's 11:15.
Okay, I'm glad it's 11:15. I do need to add RAM to this machine for sure.
How do you do that with that?
You take the back off, you take the old RAM out and put new RAM in.
The RGB RAM.
What RAM do you have? How much RAM?
8 gigs.
My friend said that he had 40,000. I was like, that's cap.
That is cap.
It ended up he had 4 point. No, he had 0.4 responses.
So we solve for y, right? So we subtract 12 from both sides, end up with 3/4 y equals.
You don't switch the y next?
I did.
Oh.
I did back. Okay. This is being stupid. If it continues being stupid, then we're just gonna say goodbye.
You're on your own, right? Wait, what?
We multiply times 4/3 on both sides. Those cancel. Our y equals 4/3 times x is 4/3 x.
Wait, did you say that you were going to count off for if we didn't do the FX?
4/3 times -12 is -16. What was your question, sir?
I said, are you going to, you probably answered it, but you said you were going to count off if we did the FX one in the end result?
Probably. Because time.
-1 point.
Yep, -1 point. Done and done. Okay.